Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's stream. So happy to be here live on Bitcoin Tips here on YouTube. Going to be talking about some things going on in cryptocurrency. I think we've seen a lot of really good movement over the last few days, so I'm sure we'll have a good conversation. But first off, welcome to everybody. If you are new here, essentially the way these streams are set up and run usually is if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, anything you want to hear about, please feel free to leave a chat in the live comments section. And in the past, we've been able to address all comments, questions, and things like that. And of course, please do like, share, and subscribe to Bitcoin Tips. It really does help out the channel. And sharing this stream around will help get more people in. And the more people in cryptocurrency, the more people watching these videos, the higher the prices will go eventually. So let's get started here. Mike, nice to see you. Welcome. I do see you said you'd love to see the recent price action on Bitcoin's chart. Yeah, before diving right quick into the detailed chart here, I do like this screen. I think it's a good way to start a live stream here with kind of just the heat map in crypto, and it is looking really good. Lots of green. There is still a little bit of red sprinkled in there, but hey, that is to be expected. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. But really, the main cryptocurrencies, top 10, top 50, overwhelmingly green. We're seeing Bitcoin over $39,000. It was just a few weeks ago that we were excited to see it passing 35,000. So while I think we are very on track here, this is what we expected. We weren't expecting, or at least I wasn't expecting, a huge jump in price. Compared to what other cryptos have done, altcoins, and even Bitcoin in the past, $4,000 to $5,000 over 2-3 weeks is not a huge movement, but we are headed in the right direction, and it is not going all that fast. Let me remember what it's called. Trading views. There we go. So yeah, we can dive into the little bit more of a detailed Bitcoin chart here. So yeah, just as a quick reference as to what we're looking at, can we have that go away? We're looking at the day chart, and if you're not super familiar with charts like this, essentially what that means is each candle or line here is 1 day worth of price movement. So it's either going to be red or green, it was up that day, or it was down that day. And just as a little bit more information, the thicker part of the line is where it started and where it ended, whether it's green or red. So if it's green, the bottom of the thick part is where it started that day, and the top is where it ended. Vice versa for red. If it's red, the top is where it started, and the bottom of the thick part is where it ended. And these skinnier parts are just movement throughout the day. So for example, this day here, November 9th, you can see that we ended at about 36,000, but during that day we were up at almost 38,000. So quick little crash course on some of the candles and what those mean. But Mike, you said based on the chart, where do you see Bitcoin going by the halving? And Low Roller, welcome. Nice to see you here. Yeah, that's a good question. So what we're seeing here, kind of going back towards like the March-ish time frame, March, April, we can see we had this kind of ceiling here with Bitcoin around $30,000. Took a while to break through that. We were, testing it back here in July. Kind of, bumped up above it a little bit, but then ultimately did fall back down to this floor that we've talked about in other streams as well, around the $24,000, $25,000 range. But what's really cool, and what we were excited to see just a few weeks ago, back in October actually, so a little over a month ago, we broke through this, $31,000, $32,000 resistance level. Super cool. Typically what that means is then we will see Bitcoin, that resistance level that we couldn't really break through of around $32,000 become a support, meaning that it's going to be pretty hard for Bitcoin to drop back down through that. And what we've seen is actually even better. It kind of kept going up, flattened off here around 33 to 34,000. and then we start to see some of the movement we saw recently. So we actually have to zoom out a little bit further to see, the next resistance that we are coming up to was all the way back in May of 2022. So well over a year ago, of about 39,734. We could be simple and round that up to $40,000. So in the immediate future, kind of what I'm thinking is we're going to see Bitcoin $39,478. That's already very, very close to that $40,000 resistance level. What I'm thinking we're going to see is most likely it'll get up to that, even closer, maybe even surpass it a little bit, 4,100, 4,200 maybe. I'm sorry, 4,100, 4,200. That's what I meant. And we might see it drop back down a little bit, down towards the, maybe 39, 38,000 range, which, maybe even down to 35, which wouldn't be all that surprising. Worst case scenario, I think we could see it drop back down to the low 30,000s. I think it's definitely possible. I wouldn't be shocked if it did, but I think it's kind of unlikely. We'd have to break through 35,000's support floor a little bit before that. But hey, nothing is impossible. It is definitely something to think about. And Mike, to kind of get towards your question of where I think Bitcoin might be going, as we get closer to the Bitcoin halving, I think our next big mark would be this 48,000 range, assuming that we can break through 40,000 pretty easily. Quite honestly, I think that's going to take some time. If we are getting closer to $48,000, $49,000, $50,000 Bitcoin, I think that's going to be much closer, well into next year, 2024, closer to the Bitcoin halving date. And the reason I would say that is I don't think we're going to be seeing any big major spikes like what we would think of when we think of a bull run. And the reason for that is, if you look at the historics, and I do have a video here on the channel taking a look at, a rough estimate of the dates and how Bitcoin bull runs and crypto bull runs have started over the past. I'm not signing in, per usual. It's going to give me an ad. But essentially where I was going with that is the Bitcoin bull run doesn't actually happen for 6 to 8 months or even a year in most cases after the Bitcoin halving. So we are very well still at least a year out before we start seeing it get much closer to that $68,000, $69,000 all-time high. That's okay. We're here, we're prepared, we're, aware of what's happening. And I think since we still have a good 5-6 months until the actual halving, and then, maybe best case scenario, another 4 to 6 months after that, I think it's going to just slowly kind of bounce back and forth between the 30,000 and 50,000 level. That's kind of a broad range. More likely, maybe 35 to 45,000, that $10,000 range. I wouldn't be surprised if we kind of bounced around in those numbers for the next few weeks or even few months. But of course, who knows what can happen with it? Bitcoin, of course, is one of, it is the largest and one of the most influential coins on the coin market cap, but that doesn't mean it's the only one out there, and there are a ton of other coins. Ethereum's doing really well. If Ethereum suddenly takes off, we'll probably see that happen with Bitcoin as well. And that can happen with, I think any of the top 10 coins could really have a big influence on each other. But, we will just have to wait and see, but hopefully that does help a little bit. Bitcoin does seem to be moving up pretty well. Hopefully it's not too fast and we don't see a huge crash down. But again, if that does happen, don't panic. Continue to collect your crypto and take it as an opportunity to buy more coins, get more coins, however you acquire your crypto. So hopefully that helps, but I see we got some more chats. Hamza, nice to see you. Welcome to the stream. But Low Roller, you said, I don't like Luna Classic since it's a scam coin. Interested to hear why you think it's a scam coin, Low Roller, because, I know there was a lot of controversy and issues with the old CEO, but now that it is a Binance project, one of the largest exchanges in the world, just interested to hear your thoughts, because I've seen both sides of it. Luna is something that I've gotten into just over the last few days, and I think it does have a lot of potential, and it's been doing pretty well. Binance just announced that they burned, I think, 3.9 billion coins. It was either 3.9 billion or 39 billion. I know those are very different numbers, so let's, I know it's trending here, but let me check. I think it was 3.9. Yep. So yesterday, if you're not aware, Binance once a month on the first of the month is burning a certain number of tokens. I'm not entirely sure how they determine the number that is burned, but yesterday, December 1st, they burned 3.9 billion tokens. So definitely interested to hear your thoughts on that, but yeah. Continuing here, Low Roller, you said Bitcoin will reach 40K next week. So yeah, I think that's very possible. We may even see it reach 40,000 tonight, or possibly even during the stream. But we'll have to see what happens with it. If it bounces back down a little bit, I wouldn't be shocked, but definitely very, very possible though. And Lower, you said you heard Dogecoin Spaceship got approved by FCC this week. Dogecoin Spaceship next year. I'm interested. I'm not aware of that. Is that like some new show or something? Because FCC is usually like TV and internet and radio and stuff like that. I'm not sure if you meant FAA or... Let me see here. Not immediately seeing anything about spaceships, but yeah, I'll have to look into that a little bit. And then yeah, of course, Bitcoin did reach 39.5 today, so definitely cool. And then I see, Mike, you put in a comment there, but just skipping ahead real quick to Low Roller's comment about the Luna collapse. Yeah, that did happen. Not gonna sit here and say that didn't happen or it's not something to be concerned about. And yeah, it is a very cheap priced coin at the moment. It is what it is. I think it's interesting that Binance is working on it. I have no idea what's going to happen with the coin, and I think your concerns are extremely valid. And of course, everybody has to do their own research and come to their own conclusion of what coins are good, what coins they want to invest in. Right now, I think Luna is one that I'm interested in, just to see where it goes. With Binance working on it, it's getting a lot more, media coverage here on YouTube and other crypto social media areas. I think it's got some potential. It's definitely one of the riskier coins, but hey, it's already pretty cheap. It's already lost a lot of its value. There isn't much room to lose much more. Of course, there's always the possibility it goes to nothing, but I think with this one, based off what I've seen and read on my own, I think it's something that I'll be interested to see what happens with. Mike, you said, what do you think about the diminishing returns theory? Do you think we top out at 150? Is there a potential for much higher than that? I think there's a potential for much higher than that. I think with just how we've seen crypto change and adapt, and both as a platform, as a tool, as an investment opportunity, and as just how the public in general, people perceive it, I think we're going to see another wave of that. Because, I remember in 2017 when that bull run happened, it was very weird for the entire crypto community as a whole to see major news networks talking about Bitcoin. When it was hitting $19,000, $20,000, and all these big news networks on primetime TV, morning news networks, stuff like that, talking about it. Because up until then, it really wasn't talked about that publicly that often. Of course, there's YouTube and social media and all that, but main TV, that was pretty rare. And then, of course, when the bull run happened in 2021, 22, we saw a huge explosion. Media, YouTube, news networks, main TV, celebrities, everybody was talking about it. And I think it got a lot more adoption. You saw more traditional platforms, or maybe not traditional platforms, but easier ways to access and purchase crypto. It used to be much harder to get Bitcoin and Litecoin and Dogecoin and whatever coins you wanted. You couldn't just open up Robinhood or Crypto.com or Coinbase. Coinbase was really the first big one. But it's become so much easier to trade fiat currency into cryptocurrency now that it opened up a platform for tons of people to invest, and in small amounts. So I think just because it's becoming more mainstream, we have potential to see much higher, as everybody wants to get a little piece of the pie of crypto. I think it is a valid theory, but, personally for me, I guess I'm not 100% sure where your question was going there. If you think topping out, if the question was if I think it'll top out at 150 during this year's bull market or the next one when it starts, or if 150 as a whole. As a whole, I think we could certainly see it higher than that. During the next bull market, I think 150 is probably on the higher end of where it will end up. Maybe 175 tops. But, give it 5, 6, 7 more years, I think we'll see well over 150 for Bitcoin. But those are my thoughts at the moment. Low Roller, you said Bitcoin will reach 40K next week. I think we talked about that one. And then you said Google search Dogecoin spaceship here. Okay, so it is a SpaceX. This isn't. Oh, this is Space TV. Let's see. Okay, so event details January 12th, 2024, so a little over a month from now. SpaceX Falcon 9, Block 5 rocket to launch Doge 1 and IM-1 Nova C payloads from Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Sweet robotic. Let's see. Okay, so that's interesting. Doge 1 is a mission to the moon completely funded by Dogecoin, becoming the first space mission funded by crypto. Elon Musk confirmed this news via Twitter. That's actually really interesting. I was not aware of that. But yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that as we get closer, because I mean, obviously everything's doing pretty well, but Dogecoin's up about 3% today. So could be really cool. I think that's awesome. I think this is a good step in the right direction. I hit the wrong button there. It's a private window. It won't open back up. But I think this is even more importantly, it shows that Elon Musk is still interested in Dogecoin to an extent. I'm sure this was planned well long ago, but it's still out there. It hasn't been canceled. So it was announced on 2021, and now, just like you said, got approval for coming up here in January. So I think that's awesome. Hopefully it does start to fuel some more interest in Dogecoin, and gets that price pumping up a little bit as we start to see more news about this. So super cool. Hamza, you said, what do you think about Shiba? Can we see a rally for Shiba in this bull run? I think there's definitely a possibility for Shiba. Let me look it up here just so we can take a look at the let's see. Take a look at the all chart. Yeah, so of course it was up here back in 2023. Oh. I'm a little confused. Maybe this chart doesn't go back that far. I was hoping to see, further back in the... Is this the right Shiba coin? Yeah. Let me just make sure. Yeah, it appears to be. Hopefully I'm looking at the right chart here. But anyways, I think I know it was on the main page too. Yeah, I think it can definitely go up. No, I was looking at the wrong coin. That's why. Too many coins trying to copy each other. So yeah, where I was going with this is we can see that it was up here at 4 zeros and then 7 4 back in 2021. I think it would be great if we could get back up to that area in the bull run. What I think is really going to power this coin is if Dogecoin starts to do things, which it sounds like with the spaceship and everything that Low Roller brought up, that's very possible. Shiba, inherently, I hold Shiba. It was something I decided to get last year or 2 years ago, but it was a copy of Dogecoin. This coin was made specifically to try and go off of the go off of Dogecoin's success. And of course, they do have their own use cases and development teams and all that, and I think that that's a good thing. But I would have a pretty hard time seeing or thinking that Shiba is going to go up X percentages, however many you think it might go up, without seeing something similar in Dogecoin. Because inherently it is a meme coin. And the other thing you have to think about is there are a lot of other meme coins out there. As you saw, I typed in Shiba in the search bar, which, of course, I remember now that's not the symbol for it. But if you're, not that well-versed in the world of crypto and you come out here and, Shiba Inu, I'm going to type in Shiba and buy that coin. Well, they're buying the wrong coin. So there are a lot of other factors that go into it that we didn't really see during the last run. But again, I think this is a great coin that if you have $20, $50, $100 lying around that you would be okay losing, this is a great one to, maybe throw a little bit of money in, just set it, forget it. I wouldn't necessarily actively be investing in this. I think there are much better coins to invest in for the longevity and increase in money. But if you're looking for very quick potential gains, this is a good contender coin. And I say that as someone who is still holding the coin and plans to still hold it in hopes that there is a little bit of an increase. So hopefully that helps. Those are kind of my thoughts on the coin. But yeah, I think we do need to see some movement in Dogecoin before we'll see major movement here with Shiba. Low Roll, you said it was easy to get Dogecoin on faucets in 2017. Yeah, I mean, getting Dogecoin back then was extremely easy. You could get multiple coins, 10, 15, 20, or 100 plus coins from faucets even. And it was normal. But of course, good things happened. The price went up, and you're not getting as many coins anymore. Dogecoin's a great one that's recent, much more recent than Bitcoin. Because, of course, the first Bitcoin faucet, I think it gave out 25 coins every hour. Can you imagine getting 25 Bitcoin every hour? But that was back in 2009, 2010. A lot of people weren't in crypto then and don't remember that. Whereas with Dogecoin, that's much more recent and a great, great advertisement for why faucets are worth the time to go out there, click the button, get the free coin. You never know what's going to happen to it. Yeah, it was tens, 100ths, 1,000ths of a penny at the time, but you could have made how many hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars from it. So great advertisement for faucets. Mike, you said, perfect, that's what I wanted to know. Glad I was able to help with that on your question about Bitcoin and 150K. And you said, did I end up getting a Caspa miner? I did not, mainly because I don't think that miner, that area of crypto right now, Caspa, I think is a good coin, but personally for me, it's not a good coin to mine. And there's many factors that go into that. I don't think it's a bad coin to mine. It just wouldn't work out properly for me. And the main reason for that, I would say, is the cheaper miners are being blown out of the water by these new Bitmain miners and other Caspa miners that are coming out that are mining so much more coin, so much more power added to the network per machine, that the 200 or 400 gigahashes that you get from like a KS0 or a KS0 Pro, it doesn't really make a dent anymore. And to go out and spend $500-$600, even if you were able to get lucky and find one for $200 or $300 on eBay, I don't think you're going to make your money back with it, unfortunately. And to go out and buy one of the big miners, one issue up front is they are multiple thousands of dollars, some even over $10,000. The other issue is you need to have a proper power delivery setup for a machine like that, and I just don't have the ability to set that up at the moment, because you would need to run a dedicated 240 volt circuit. You would need to get PDUs to power because they run on 240. You need to split that power into the two outlets on the machine, and it's going to be 4,000 watts. And where I'm currently living, 4,000 watts, it's very expensive. Power prices where I am are much higher than other areas. It just doesn't make sense for me personally, and I think the ones that do make sense from an electricity standpoint, they're getting blown out of the water by these big, awesome miners, which I would absolutely love to have one of those. I think they're very cool machines, and I think they are profitable. They are making money, and I do believe they are a good investment at this time. But you have to know what you're getting into with those. I've run ASICs from Bitmain in a residential setting before, back when you could get them for 110, 120 circuits. They are loud, they generate a lot of heat, and they use a lot of power. So it's a whole different area of mining compared to GPU, CPU, whatever you might be doing. And just at this time, for me, it doesn't make sense, so I don't see myself getting a Kaspa miner anytime soon, unfortunately. One miner that if I was to try and get into the ASIC mining arena again, I think the miner I would try and get is actually the new, I think it's L7 Plus from Bitmain to mine Script, because you could mine Dogecoin or Litecoin with, I think it's like 9.5 gigahashes. Again, similar to the Kaspa, you'd have to run dedicated circuits. In North America, 220 is not standard, so there's that additional setup, which isn't all that hard, but it does require additional work, and at this time, it's just not possible for me to get into that. So, unfortunately, I don't believe I will be getting a Kaspa miner. But Low Roll, you said Dogecoin can reach 10 cents before the spaceship launch next year. They launched the spaceship in 2024, and Bitcoin ETF is supposed to be approved next year. It's like a conspiracy since crypto going up again. Yeah, I think Dogecoin, with that press and the news that will ultimately be around that launch, I think that's extremely possible. We see Dogecoin at 8.5 cents here. What's another 1.5 cents? That's really not that much when you look at where Dogecoin was. But yeah, again, as someone holding Dogecoin, I certainly hope you're right. And I think we'll have to wait and see, but I certainly hope you're right, and I think there's a very strong possibility that is going to happen. But yeah, awesome. So real quick, looks like we've got 4 people here on the stream. If you do have any other questions, comments, things you want to hear about or see on the channel, please feel free to put a comment in the live chat, and I'd be happy to address those. All right, had to grab a quick drink there. Okay, so Mike, you said, are you following any macro news like recession risk, interest rate cuts? Any thoughts on that? I loosely follow that a little bit. I think, that's an interesting point because, with some of the other things going on in the world with the economy and stuff like that, there may be less room for people to say, oh, I am willing to risk $100 or $1,000 on Dogecoin or Shiba or even Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I think that could play into the next market, but I think the next bull market, to be more specific. But what I think will end up happening is very much a FOMO situation, fear of missing out, that we will start to see crypto heading up in price, and people are going to say, well, look at what it did last time. There are people that in 2017 said, no way Bitcoin's going to hit, $10,000. No way it's going to hit 15. No way it's going to hit 20. And then it did, and it ultimately fell, and they were, oh yeah, well, it happened. It still fell back down to $3,000, but it'll never get back up there again. And then 2021, 22 came around and we saw Bitcoin, blow past 20,000 all the way up to 60, 70,000. And, some of those people from 2017 said, well, it happened once, maybe it can happen again. And they, invested. And I think you're going to see that again with a whole new group of people, this time around. They said in 2021, oh, it's never going to hit 50,000 or it's never going to hit 60,000. And it did. Well, I would not be surprised if, you start to see Bitcoin getting close to 50,000 again, and we see a little bit of an influx of investments into crypto because those same people are saying, well, I was wrong. It happened. If it happened once, why can't it happen again? And I think that's what's really important and interesting with crypto and some of the stuff we've looked at here on the channel is we've been able to identify a pattern. It's not, maybe it will happen again. There is a 99.9% chance that I would say this is going to happen again. It is coming. Is it in 6 months? Is it in 12 months? I don't know. But it is coming. So, I think interest rates, recession talks, that will play into it. There's less disposable income. But I think that is something to consider as we get closer to Bitcoin halving. I guess I don't know exactly how it's going to play into the prices because obviously this is a little bit different than some of the other situations that we've seen surrounding crypto bull runs. But, even looking back into the early, 2010s, we were still coming out of the recession then, and crypto was able to jump from, a couple dollars up to $200-$300, which back then was a crazy increase. So, and that was before we had really mainstream knowledge of what crypto was. Whereas I think going back to the knowledge piece of it, a lot more people know what this is and have easy access to it. So I think you could see that happen again. And overall, the stock market, at least the U.S. stock market, has relatively stayed flat or trended up. So, I think we would, see maybe some money pulled out of that and sent over to crypto, or it follow a similar pattern. So I don't think it'll have a huge impact, but it is something to consider. But yeah, good question. So, Low Roller, you said, did I reach 100 million mining Doge on Mars? I have not. It is a much slower coin to mine with the adjustments that were made in the mining world for GPUs. I did receive my first payout of 20 million, and it's been mining since then. So, I would say without looking, maybe I have 30 million, including the stuff that hasn't been paid out yet. But it is still running on that at the moment. But yeah, that's about where I'm at with those. Hamza, you said, am I still using Fire Faucet? Yes. Fire Faucet is one of the ones. So there's about 4 crypto auto faucets that I consistently use and most of the time have running. Fire Faucet, the Auto Faucet or Final Auto Claim, Dutchy Faucet, Dutchy Corp. It goes by a bunch of names. That's one of them. Autofaucet.org and the new JM Crypto Faucet. I think they're all great faucets, and I already have the computer running with them, so why not, get a couple extra sites, if you can find more auto faucets. But yeah, Fire Faucet is definitely one that I'm still using. They're a great site. They were actually, I think, one of the first auto faucets I ever found and really used. So yeah, Fire Faucet's great. I would recommend that one. I would probably say, ranking those 4, I'd have to say that the Dutchy Faucet would be number 1 or first, just because they have so many different ways to earn and so many coins to earn. That's just my thought. There's so many different ways to use that site, and they've got, Space Coin's a good project going on as well. I think that one would be number 1. Fire Faucet would definitely be number 2, though. So yeah, they're a great site. After that, Auto Faucet. I would even say Auto Faucet, Fire Faucet tie for second. They're great. I like Fire Faucet because it's got a lot of other ways to use it and earn as well. But the edge that I may give to Auto Faucet is that they do have more coins to choose from. And then the JM Faucet, they don't pay out a super high amount, unfortunately, but it is cool that you don't really have to do anything. You just have to have the site open. It's actually the least maintenance faucet out there. All you'd have to do is just make sure to refresh and stay signed in. You don't have to worry about auto-claim points, stuff like that, but the amount you do earn is pretty low. So, but yeah, still using that one. Mike, you said, any low cap altcoins you believe could do well in the next cycle, or alts in general? Not really. I haven't done a ton of research into some altcoins, and that's something I want to look into a little bit more. Like I said, I just kind of started getting into the Luna coin. I don't know that that counts as low cap. It is top 100 on crypto market cap here. And yeah, like Low Roller expressed in the beginning of the stream, there are some concerns with this coin. But, this one's, its market cap is 863 million. We'll see what happens with it, but that's one. Looking at this here, initially, it might be worth, this is just for me, I'm thinking it might be worth to get some XRP, some Solana, maybe Cardano, not too sure. Had some of those before. Shiba I have, Litecoin I have. For me, what I've noticed just over the last few years, and this really came about, I would say, in 2019. Was it 2019? It was either 2019 or 2018. I think it was 2019. Really just decided to collect the cryptocurrency that I was interested in, which really happened to be, Bitcoin, Dogecoin. Dogecoin I just had. Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum really were the ones that in 2019 I was like, I'm going to go all in on these. All of my faucet earnings, all of my cloud mining earnings, all of that, those three coins. And it's worked out really well. Not to say that there were, of course there were better coins I could have gone after to make higher returns. But really from what I've seen in my personal experiences, if you pick some well-known coins and really just go all in on those, it tends to work out better. And maybe I just don't want to take as much of a risk with some of those, smaller cap coins. There's, higher risk but higher reward. So it is more of a personal thing of what are you hoping to get out of it. I think something that I'm trying to keep in mind as we get closer to the Bitcoin bull run and bull market is, what is a US dollar or fiat dollar, wherever you're at, what amount are you happy with? If your account got to $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000, where is that number that says, okay, I'm happy, I'm selling it, this is great, it worked out better than you could have imagined. That's something that I personally didn't do in the last bull market, and I can say I didn't sell any coins. Not a single coin did I sell in the last bull market. And looking back, I probably should have taken some profits. So looking forward into this one, I need to come up with the number for me. What am I happy with? If my Bitcoin holdings get to a $10,000 valuation or a $5,000 valuation or $8,000, where is that? And do you want to sell all of it? Do you want to sell some of it? That's really just something you have to determine personally for you. And kind of bringing that back to the altcoins is, altcoins have the potential to make a ton more. You're probably not going to make $100,000 on Bitcoin unless you have at least one or two. And that's expensive to get into, whereas you could put, $200-$300 into a coin like Shiba or Dogecoin, and it is, Dogecoin maybe not so much, but it could be possible to make thousands of dollars off of a small investment. So, it's a risk tolerance thing, and I think everybody's going to be a little bit different with that. And like you said, really, so people back in 2019 didn't believe Bitcoin would ever hit 20K again. How was this sentiment back in 2019? Yeah, I would definitely say that that was true. I remember when Bitcoin was really going on its first, at least, bull run that I was a part of in 2017, 2018 timeframe. And people, I remember seeing YouTube videos and, even some news articles and, clips on mainstream media that was like, this is crazy. These people that are investing in Bitcoin are insane. It's never going to hit $10,000. It's never going to hit 15. It's never going to hit 20,000. And then it did. But it promptly fell back down very quickly. If we switch back over here and refresh to get rid of the ad, looking back over at 2017, you can see December 16th, 2017, Bitcoin closed at about $19,213, according to this chart. The following day, it peaked $19,646 and closed a little bit lower at just under 19,000. But then over the next 4 days, it dropped down to we'll round up to $14,000. So it lost $6,000, which today doesn't sound like a ton, in 4 days. Of course, everybody who said there's no way it's going to make it to 20,000 was like, okay, maybe we were wrong about it touching 20,000, but look what happened right after. It lost all this value. And, if you look, what did we say, December 17th, 2017. So if we go to January 17th, roughly a month later, we can see that it closed at $11,000. So it lost almost 50% in a month. And then, proceeded to drop over the next, 20 to 30 days. February 6th, it was all the way down to 6,700. It fell very, very quickly. And a lot of people said, this is why you should have never invested in Bitcoin. Look how much money it's lost. And that came up again in 2019. Of course, there were people that said, I'm all in on Bitcoin. I'm all in on crypto. It is going to hit 20,000 and more again. And of course it did. But there were a great number of people that were saying, you're insane. There's no way. Look at what happened in 2017, 2018. It took a dive right after hitting $20,000. So, I'm sure there will be people, again, because if you look back here at, 69,000, that was, let's zoom in a little bit more, just makes it a little easier. Looking at how fast it fell off again, because I think, personally for me, I don't remember it falling real fast in 2020, 2021. I guess it was 21. We see here, November 9th, it hit 67,589. That was November 8th. The day after, it closed a little bit less. It's looking familiar. But if we jump ahead, so November 8th, if we jump to December 8th, so again, a month later, we can see that it has now closed, so it did close up here at 50,000. So 30 days, it lost $10,000. Sound familiar? Of course, in 2017, $10,000 in 30 days was, 50% loss. This one wasn't quite that bad from a percentage standpoint, but a very similar number. So then we proceed to see it drop down. So by, January 20th, so 2 to 3 months later, it's back down to 34,000. It's fallen quite a bit pretty quickly. So, I'm sure we're going to see people saying again, look what happened the last time. It's going to fall down. And yes, it absolutely will fall again. Nobody knows what the high point is going to be. We can make educated guesses based off the history. But again, I think that's why it's very important for each individual person invested in crypto, whatever coins they have, whether it's just Bitcoin or it's Bitcoin and 40 other altcoins or it's 40 altcoins, determine if there's a value that you think, man, there'd be no way for this coin to hit it. You know, if you think that there's no way Bitcoin's going over 125,000 in the next bull run, what I would say is maybe if it makes it to 115, 10,000 less than that, sell some, take some profit. If it hits 125, you didn't think it was going to happen, take some profit. Who knows? If it continues and goes all the way up to 150, okay, maybe you missed out on a little bit, but you still walked away with something, and it went higher than what you thought was the best. So again, it unfortunately is something that is a little bit more of a personal decision, but you can use the numbers and these charts to inform that personal decision, and hopefully come out with a win. And of course, if you're claiming from faucets, cloud mining does usually require an investment, but anyway, if you're getting the crypto for free, even if you sold, you know, at 30,000 because you thought 30,000 was crazy, it would never pass that in the last bull market, and it made it to what, 68, you still made however much money from absolutely nothing. Your return on investment was 100%, regardless of where you sold. So another plug for faucets. Yeah, so taking a look at some of the other chats here, let me bring up the other page. Low Roller said, if you survive 3 bear markets in crypto, people wasn't worried about it, since we will know the outcome. The newbie from 2021 will jump in crypto bandwagon. YSL, same people in 2017. So yeah, I think we are starting to see a pattern, and I think more people are going to start to see that pattern. So I think that's going to, you know, even then fuel crypto and the prices even more. But and then yeah, Low Roller said Fire Faucet didn't add Doge on Mars. Yeah, I think that's that's true. Fire Faucet hasn't added a lot of coins. You know, seeing a site like the Duchy Corp faucet, that's pretty rare. There are very few sites out there that have that many coins available for claiming, whereas Fire Faucet has such a small amount, but they're a trusted faucet. You know, I'm just trying to sign in here on the other screen. I'm just not remembering my password, but whatever. I think there's like 11 coins, 10 or 11 that you can claim. You know, they're the OG cryptos. I think it's still a good faucet. Just, you know, if it doesn't have the coin that you're interested in, you can always claim the coins that are available and, you know, exchange them. Yeah, you might be paying an exchange fee, but hey, it's still free crypto in the end of the day, especially when it's a passive site like Fire Faucet. Low Roll, you said you can still use the old G faucet to use multiple and earn interest, 4% interest a year. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't really go too far into those sites here on the channel. But yeah, feel free to, you know, maybe post in the Discord or something like that. You know, we'll see what happens with that. But, and then, yeah, Doge on Mars could be a, you know, big winning coin. You know, we'll have to wait and see, and I think that's a very good way of looking at it. And I think you have to go in with that mindset of, hey, this might not, and you know, I don't want to say most likely won't, because I think there is a potential, but most likely won't make me rich. But there is always that small percentage that it could. And I think, you know, again, it's a personal thing, but you have to decide, you know, are you willing to take the risk and collect the coins or buy the coins or whatever and hope it works out? Or would you rather put it in something safer like Bitcoin or Ethereum and, you know, maybe not make quite as crazy returns, but in the end make returns? So, you know, again, it's a good thing, good coin, good project, but you got to determine what level of risk you're willing to take on the individual level. And then, yeah, there are a lot of new scam coins out there. So, yeah, definitely do your research. Don't just invest in coins. Always go out, find YouTube videos, read website, blogs, whatever. Read the white papers or the sites, see how long it's been around, stuff like that. Always do research on it. Usually what I like to do is if there's a crypto coin that I'm thinking of getting into, or claiming from faucets or staking or investing, once I find it, wait a week or two. Maybe you miss out on a little bit of gains, but wait a week or two, do some research, sleep on it, see what you think in a week. If you still think it's something that you're interested in, go ahead and get some. But at least that gives you some time to think and not just jump on a coin because it looked like the new most interesting coin. Because, if you did that all the time, chances are you'd run out of money pretty quick. Mike, you said, such a great point. So cool to see the similarities between this cycle and prior cycles. Really nice to see you compare them. Yeah, I'm glad it was helpful. Again, I think it's all a pattern. We'll see a similar thing where people will think there's no way it's going up. You'll see people, on both sides saying it's going to hit new all-time highs like crazy, which, I would say I'm more on that side for sure. I think, based off the historical data and the numbers, we will see new all-time highs, but that's why I don't usually like to sit here and say, of course I think it's going to hit X number of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, but there's a good chance it will, but I don't know when or how high. So we'll see. But I'm sure we'll start to see that pick up here as we get closer to the halving again. But Mike, you said, I remember altcoins PW faucet claimed Digibyte at 0.005 and it spiked to 18 in 2021. I wonder if Digibyte takes out its all-time high this cycle. Yeah, hopefully. And Low Roller said the only thing holding Digibyte back is they don't have a huge following, like Dogecoin. That's why it didn't do much in the last bull run. Yeah, unfortunately, that is something that a lot of cryptos are running into, that if it requires a lot of work to have a successful project, more so than just investors. You need to have a good, and honestly, I wouldn't compare Dogecoin to really any coins, especially Digibyte. Digibyte had a really good team and project and purpose behind it, whereas it's a known fact that Dogecoin was just made as a joke, and the joke is really what its whole environment is based around. Not to say I don't think it's a good coin or a coin that you shouldn't hold. I just don't think it's a very good coin to compare to other cryptos. We're seeing a little bit more use case and promotion around it with like Elon Musk's rocket and stuff like that. But we'll have to see what happens with it. But yeah, I think Digibyte could take off and break through its all-time high. But again, I wouldn't go too crazy with it. 18 cents would be great to see again. I don't know that it would get much higher than, 45 to 50 cents. But you never know. If you had asked me back in 2020, I would have said you were insane if you thought Dogecoin was getting to 10 cents. And it made it to 67, 70 cents, something like that. So nobody really knows. But yeah, I think it's survived this long. It's got potential. I just don't know that it has, potential like Dogecoin or others. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah, 60x in the last bull cycle, that's definitely a crazy return. And Low Roller said he expects Digibyte to reach $1. So that would certainly be a great return on investment if it does happen. So But yeah, so thank you to everyone who has joined. I do really appreciate it. Probably going to get ready to wrap the stream here in just a few minutes. But Low Roller Mike, Hamza, if you're still here, I think that was the main group of people chatting. Thank you, as always, for stopping in. Trying to, continue to build the channel, get more people into the crypto community, of course, but again, do appreciate the conversations here. I think we're starting to see even more movement in crypto as a whole, so hopefully we can continue to see new prices, new highs for this year, and, all of that. But Low Roller, you said I only expected Dogecoin to reach 25 cents in the last bull run. Didn't expect it to reach 75 cents. Exactly. I think a lot of people were in that case with, just a different amount of cents they thought it was going to reach, whether it was 25 or 10 or 15, whatever. I think it was definitely a shocking run that Dogecoin had, and I think we're going to need to see a lot more promotion around it to have something similar, but here's to hoping that we see $1 Dogecoin. And Mike, yeah, it was great catching up. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Hope to do some more videos here, just pre-recorded here on YouTube, continuing to share new faucets and sites and coins and all of that. So, but yeah, so thanks to everybody who did show up and participate. It was great being here live talking about the crypto markets. Hopefully you were able to learn something, and of course, if you do have any other questions, comments, suggestions, whatever might come to mind after the stream, feel free to comment just on the stream or the video. I did do a couple community posts as well. YouTube does kind of put that all in one spot so I can see them, so I will do my best to answer any comments after the fact as well. Low Roller, not sure when the next stream will be. Probably not this week, but maybe next week. Just got some more busy stuff going on and won't be able to live stream, I know for a fact, this week. So that's why I wanted to hop on and do one tonight. But I know with getting closer to the end of the year, we could start to see a little bit more busyness just as everybody's doing different things. So we'll hopefully try and do one soon. But yeah, like I said, for sure this week, probably not. Maybe the 11th or 12th we'll try and get a stream going as well. I didn't mean to click that. But I will keep you updated here on the channel, in the community section, as well as just with videos and stuff like that. So thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next stream. Bye.